Hello all. We are going to start with design of RCC beam. In fact, for behavior of beam, like in rectangular cross section and flanged beam, further singly reinforced beam and doubly reinforced beam, balanced section, we have seen in earlier units. Now herein what we are going to do, we are going to design a beam taking load coming on it. I have actually considered this into three parts: classification of beams, loads on beams and analysis of beams. Part 2 will be design of beam for flexure and part 3 will be design of beam for shear. We will consider a simple plan. This is a structural plan. Before this, we can see we are having known classification of beams as simply supported beam, fixed beam and continuous beam. Now referring to this structural plan, let us classify the beams. Herein C1, C2, C3 etc. are column positions. B1, B2, B3 etc. are the beam numbers. S1, S2, S3, S4 slab numbers. So this is our structural plan. As we can see the position of reinforcement, S1, S2 are one-way slab, S3, S4 are two-way slabs. Now let us classify the beams in this structural plan. We can see over here B4, B5, B6, B7. If we refer to the B4, B4 is supported by column C4 and C5. Beam B5 is supported by column C3 and C6. So these beams B4, B5, B6, B7 are simply supported beams, or depending upon reinforcement we can have it as a fixed beam also. Herein one more beam is there, that is B8. You can see now this beam B8, it is not supported by column, but this beam B8, it is resting on or it is supported by beam B4 and B5. Actually this B8 is a simply supported beam, but this beam now we are going to classify it as a secondary beam because it is not supported by column, but it is supported by other beam, and the beam which is supporting this secondary beam is called main beam. So we are having now B4 and B5 as main beams, B8 as secondary beam. Now we are having B1, B2, B3 supported by columns C1, C2, C3, C4. So it is having continuous supports. We are going to design this beam as continuous beams. Same we are having on other end B9, B10, B11. So in this way we can have group. What we are going to do? If we refer to the load coming on this B1, B2, B3 and B9, B10, B11, if it is somewhat same, we can design either of the beam, and for remaining set we are going to add or we are going to provide same cross section, same reinforcement. So in this way we are having group of beams. So this is what is the classification of beams depending upon structural plan. Now the main part is load calculations on beam. For economical and safe design, perfect estimation of load is very much important. So what are the loads on beams? We have to consider basically load as dead load and live load. Further, this dead load, it includes load transferred from floor beam, self weight of the beam and load due to wall. Live load depending upon what type of building it is, whether it is residential building, whether it is public building, its value is going to change, which we have to refer to from IS 875. Now let us consider load from slab, load transferred from floor slab. Now further it depends upon which type of slab it is there, whether it is a cantilever slab, one-way slab or two-way slab. First we will consider one-way slab. So for this one-way slab, let us take the same example. What is the example we are having? We are having, say, S1 slab over here. Now this S1, it is surrounded by, you can see over here, B1, B6, B11 and B7. But as you can see the reinforcement over here, the direction of reinforcement, the total load is to be taken care by B6 and B7 only. Same way for S2, the load is taken care by B6 and B5. The load of slab is not going to transfer to B1 or B11, and for S2 it is not going to transfer to B2 and B10. Now let us see how it is going to transfer. So if I am going to consider end beam over here, which is our B7. So for this B7, half of the load from S1 panel will be there. Half means how much? If I am going to consider W as the intensity of load on slab, which is in kilonewton per meter square, this is distributed half, means Lx1 by 2. If I want to calculate total load over here, what is this area? It is Lx1 by 2 into L. You can see L over here, L is the span of the beam. So this is the area, this hatched portion, blue hatched portion over here, it is having area Lx1 by 2 into L into W, which is intensity in kilonewton per meter square of slab. But we want this load in kilonewton per running meter of span. So we are going to consider it as W into Lx1 by 2. Now if I am referring to B6 beam over here, you can see it is intermediate beam and it is having S1 and S2 slab panels over there. So half of the load from S1 will be there and half of the load from S2 will be there. So in this way, load on beam B6, it is W, which is again intensity of load on slab into Lx1 by 2 plus Lx2 by 2. We are not going to multiply it by total L because we want it in kilonewton per running meter. So this is what simple half of the area of the slab gives load on a particular beam in case of one-way slab. Now let us consider two-way slab. In case of two-way slab, again I am going to refer the same plan which we are having. It is S3 and S4. So we are having B5, it is the total beam which is supported by C3, C6. B4, it is the total beam which is supported by C4 and C5. Then in between we are having B8, this is B3 and this is B9 are the corner beams. So this is how, if you refer to the figure 7, page number 41 of IS 456-2000, it mentions that the load distribution is on longer beam or on longer span, it is like a trapezoidal load distribution, and on shorter span, it is a triangular. Now, how do we have this triangle? So, code suggested we have to consider 45-degree inclination over here. Now, herein you can see I have shown all this Lx and Ly. Lx we know it indicates shorter span, Ly it is a longer span. So, for this slab which is our S3, we are having horizontal as Lx and vertical as Ly. For this S4, we are having horizontal as longer span, that is Ly, and vertical as shorter span, that is Lx. So this is what we are having. Now here in this case, let us consider a trapezoidal area. If we are going to have this as 45-degree inclination, you can see over here, this height of this trapezoidal portion is W, that is intensity of slab on intensity of slab, load on slab into Lx by 2. Same way, if I am going to consider this triangular portion, this is also having its height as Lx by 2. You can see over here it is, I have considered this as for B8. So for this B8, now this is Lx and this is W into Lx by 2. Now if you refer to this B5, how the load will be there on this B5? So for sum of the portion, how much is this portion? So this is Ly. For this Ly, we are having this trapezoidal load, and for this Lx, we are having this triangular load. Now when we have to calculate load on beam, simply it is intensity of load into area of trapezoidal portion. But we don't have to consider it as a trapezoidal or triangular area. We want load as uniformly distributed load. So what is the concept over there? We have to consider, or we have to convert this trapezoidal and triangular load into equivalent uniformly distributed load. So how do we are going to do this? It is quite simple thing. Let I have considered over here triangular load, and this we have to transfer into uniformly distributed load, for which the intensity I have mentioned over here as WEQ. So for this now, I have considered bending moment at center for this triangular load. Reactions already calculated over here. If the intensity of this triangular load, highest intensity is Q into Lx by 2, where Q is the load from slab, simple here considered over here, which is in kilonewton per meter square, and W Lx by 4 and W Lx by 4 will be reaction. Why Lx by 4? We have to find out reaction over here. So it is the half area of the total load we have to consider. So it is W Lx by 4. How much is the half area? Half distance is Lx by 2 into half. So area is half of base into height. Half base is Lx by 2, height is W. So it is half base, it is Lx by 2. So it is Lx by 4 into height is W. So that is reaction. Into, now we want to take moment at center, into Lx by 2. This we have to equate it to the load of this triangle. Half only we have to consider because we want to take moment at the center. So it is half of Lx by 2 into W. It is the load of half triangle into, we are taking moment at the center. So its centroid is 1/3 of Lx by 2 from center of this triangle. So in this way we are having W Lx square by 8 is equals to W Lx square by 12. Now if I am going to equate it to a uniformly distributed load, maximum or moment at center will be W Lx square by 8, isn't it? So directly now I am going to equate it to W equivalent Lx square by 8. Already we are having it as W Lx square by 12. So this W equivalent Lx square by 8 is equals to W Lx square by 12. In this way, if the remaining over here is W equivalent is equals to 2/3 times W. So in short or in simple, equivalent load if we want to find out, we have to multiply this load W by a factor 2/3, and this is what is equivalent factor for triangular load. So we are having now W equivalent is equals to, in simple, Q into Lx by 3, where Q is in kilonewton per meter square. But if I am going to refer this Q as, or write in terms of W, so W equivalent for bending is equals to W into Lx by 3. W is the load, actual load on beam from slab, which we have to consider, where W is the load on slab in kilonewton per meter square. Same way we have to consider shear force at center, equated to the shear force at center of equivalent, that is uniformly distributed load beam, and thus we will be getting equivalent shear force load, and which is W Lx by 4. I have not carried out derivation for that shear over here. Not even I have calculated or I have derived this equivalent load for trapezoidal loading. Now this same concept is there. We have to equate bending moment at center for trapezoidal load to the bending moment at center for the uniformly distributed load, and thus we will be getting equivalent load for bending and equivalent load for shear. One term is here beta. This beta is aspect ratio, which is our Ly by Lx. Now the third type of slab is cantilever slab. For this cantilever slab, we have to consider load coming off this cantilever slab on beam. Let us consider this figure 1. You can see in this figure 1, only one beam B1 is there and a slab is supported by this B1 only. So the total load is taken care by B1. Total load means what now? This W into Lx. Now let us consider figure 2. What is there? Herein we are having B1, B2 and B3. But you can see the slab is cantilever and the total load is taken care by B1. Load will not be there on B2 and B3. Now herein also the load on beam B1 is W into Lx. But what is the difference? Because of this B2 and B3, slab is not going to twist, whereas in figure 1, since there we are not having support like B2 and B3, slab may get twist, and which gives twisting moment or torsion on B1. So when we have to design a beam B1 as in figure 1, in addition to slab load, we have to consider torsion over there of WLx square by 2. So this beam B1, which is in figure 1, it is subjected to combined action of bending and torsion. So this is all about the loads on beam from slab. In addition to this, we have to consider self-weight of beam. Now in simple, as we have already calculated for slab and all staircase, it is density of concrete into area of that element. So but the care here we have to take is that we have already considered slab load on beam. So we are not going to consider that if it is a flanged beam, we are not going to consider area of that flange portion, but we are going to consider it as only area of rib portion or web portion, which is below depth of slab. So when we have to find out now self-weight of beam, it is density of concrete, which it is 25 kilonewton per meter cube. Then depth of beam into depth of beam below slab and width of rib. So this is what we are getting self-weight of beam. Then we have to find out wall load on beam. Again it is also same. We have to consider thickness of wall, height of wall into unit weight of masonry. As per the masonry type of masonry used, it is given, or we have to consider accordingly, and we have to put the value of this unit weight of masonry, which is in kilonewton per meter cube. So ultimately we will be getting load on beam due to wall in also kilonewton per running meter. Generally when we have to consider plinth beams and there is a wall only on plinth beam, so this masonry plinth beam carries only wall load. It is not having slab load. If that beam is a main beam and the beam is supporting secondary beam, then the reaction of that secondary beam is acting as a concentrated load due to reaction of secondary beam on main beam. So these are the all loads acting on beam. What are those? We'll just revise it. We are having load transferred from slab, self-weight of beam, then we are having wall load on beam, and we are having load from secondary beam if any. Next we are having, once we are done with our load calculations, now we have to find out bending moment and shear force at critical sections. For simply supported beams, it is quite easy. We have to of course follow elastic analysis for ultimate load, bending moment and shear force calculations. If it is a continuous beam, in that case we have to follow two methods. There is a approximate or coefficient method which is given in IS 456-2000. Reference I have mentioned over here. It is clause 22.5, page 35, or you can refer table 12 for bending moment coefficients and table 13 for shear force coefficients. Only there is one limitation. This method is used for continuous beam which is having 3 or more spans and span variation is less than 15%. If it is not, means the continuous beam, it is having less than 3 spans, if it is a 2 span continuous beam, or the span variation is more than 15%, or the loading variation also is there, like in one span it is subjected to UDL and other span it is subjected to UDL. So when there is a load variation more than 15%, or like in one span is having UDL, another span is having UDL plus concentrated load, in that case we are not supposed to use coefficient method, but we are using moment distribution method or Carney's method. A well known or regularly used method is moment distribution method. So in our numerical also we are going to do this moment distribution method. So this is all for this lecture. In next we are going to have one numerical wherein directly we are going to have load calculations, design for flexure and design for shear. See you then, and stay at home, stay safe.